Tonight's opening question is kind of a reflection on your internship itself. You created a learning plan where you reflected on your goals, but I don't know that we've really talked about that. So the question is, what is one goal you have for your internship or a skill that you hope to grow? And I can start. I'm learning alongside all of you, and I am hoping to grow skills in making marketing calendars and social media calendars for FARRMS marketing, to do our marketing in a more organized way. We'll start with Shelby.
One of my goals for this internship is to learn more about advertising outside of social media, because I've done a lot of stuff with social media before, and just how to run the organization in the back, from behind the scenes, I guess, and learn more about that kind of stuff.
Excellent. Quinn, what about you?
Yes, what were the two questions? Goals, and what was the second part?
Well, it's an either or, a goal or a skill you want to grow.
Okay. Goal / skill would be a better understanding of both the vendors, what they're looking to get out of it, and how they relate to the customers, as well as what customers see in a farmer's market and how that kind of affects the whole local community ecosystem around the local food supply chain. And so I just kind of want to see how that relationship is built and what people have for expectations on both sides.
Awesome. Lorinda.
Let's see, I, like Shelby, haven't worked behind the scenes for a farmer's market and didn't really know what all goes on there. So I'm learning a lot of that. And then also the same as Stephanie, how to better advertise on our social medias.
Great. And Felicity.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of my goals are similar to what people have said, but I'll just kind of the overall organization part of it, and how marketing ties in, but also, yeah, your relationship with your vendors and the overall food system part of it. So I've just been trying to get a broad picture and an idea of what a farmer's market system looks like, and logistically how it all works out.
Great. So part of the reason I ask is because I'm constantly trying to find resources for all of you. Both Quinn and Felicity said you have an interest in broader food systems, and I've really focused on marketing for this internship, but FARRMS has a lot of resources and readings and tools about food systems in general, so I can definitely pull in some of those readings and videos and podcasts for you all and put them in your sheet to give the bigger context of what we're doing as well. And on that same note, if there are specific things that you want to learn, shoot me an email or bring it up in session. We're focusing a lot on marketing. Some of you already have some strong marketing skills. Some things we cover might be review. Others may find those things really useful. So yeah, just let me know. This is your learning experience. And we have Fame and Michelle joining us. Michelle, are you? Oh,
hi. How are you? Let me get my lighting all set up. One moment.
Okay. While Fame and Michelle are getting settled, I'll move on with some of my other housekeeping info. Wanted to make sure you check out the website because it's been updated. as well as your learning schedule. So I think it's time to share my screen. So for your learning schedule, I have secured a bunch of speakers this past week. So today you'll hear from Simone Wai from Red River Market. We're going to have 3 sessions on social media from Erica Kale from Kale Social Company, and she's a social media marketer in Fargo. I'm not sure if Felicity has ever run into her, but I found her through an Emerging Prairie Lunch and Learn. So so she will present to us, and if you want to work ahead, there is a video that she did that I have a link to in column E, readings and resources. We're going to learn about print media, specifically working with local newspapers and news stations. And we'll hear from Marvin Baker, who vends at North Prairie Farmers Market, where Queen is at. And he's also a newspaper editor in Kenmare. And then we're going to learn about photography from Clint Saunders. And we'll have some projects getting ready for National Farmers Market Week. We'll make some posts and social posts and posters and things. And we'll learn about SNAP EBT. So take a look. I'm constantly adding more resources to this learning schedule. And if you need any paperwork or resources, send me an email, because in the process of updating your web page, it ate all of the intern resources. So we've got a great front page where I am promoting your markets. We've got links to your whole websites, Facebooks, and Instagrams if you have them, or other contact info. And then eventually you'll have an intern education page that you can click through to get your stipend schedule, you know, your forms and things. It's just the website ate them. So if you need those, send me an email and I'll shoot them over. And eventually they'll get posted. FARRMS is also in the process of redesigning our entire website system. So there'll be some bigger structural changes later in the summer. And also, if there's any information that is incorrect about your farmer's market on this page, take a look, click through the links. If you would prefer a link to something different, send me an email and let me know. And if North Prairie Farmers Market has a photo, Quinn, I'll put that up as well. So Michelle and Fame, since you're here, our opener question was, what is a goal that you have for your internship this summer? Michelle, would you like to share?
Yeah. One of my goals more broadly is to expand BizMarket's social media presence. And while we have currently a lot of engagement on Facebook, we have nearly 8,000 followers and we have thousands of engagements each month. We don't see that kind of analytics with Instagram. And so I've just been using our Instagram more and trying to link it back to Facebook. And it's been really interesting. But I will say it's definitely a work in progress, and I appreciate how the resources have thus far in the internship have been helpful there.
Awesome. Fame, how about you?
There is a bit of, I I'm not sure quite what to call it. The way that the market manager intern and myself are working together are really quite cross-pollinated, and the things that she's doing kind of are the same things that I'm meant to be doing. So finding my way through that, it has been a bit hairy, but I think the goal that I have, just based on my prior experiences and knowledge base, will be to expand sort of sponsorship goals and membership goals for the market. So that there's more of solid footing for them to rely on from year to year versus hunting for grants and other opportunities that may not necessarily just fall into the laps of the people who are there. Something that is more of an annually based thing that they can sort of base more funding on, I guess. I'm not sure quite how to put that, but that would be my goal.
Okay, great. And one of the goals of this project is for somehow for the education that we provide you as interns to get back to the market managers if possible as well. So if you see something that, you know, if we have a link or a video that you think would benefit your market manager, pass that on. And I'm trying to CC them on the email so that they get access to the information as well. Okay, so we are going to talk about Canva and knowing your audience, and then we're going to hear from Simone Wai at about 6:30. Let me make sure that's, yep, okay. Okay, so first of all, I wanted just to do a quick sort of reality check. How many of you have used Canva already?
I have.
I have used it.
Quinn, Felicity, and Michelle. Okay, so about half. Okay, so you guys are already probably somewhat familiar. If you're not familiar, I've pasted in links to Canva. So the first step would be setting up an account if you don't have one. And then they have a great tutorial section with both videos and little exercises that you can do, both to learn how to use Canva, but then they go beyond and give you some basic design tutorials just to make your designs look more visually appealing. So I've given you links to the intro videos, but then the full set of tutorials is under column F, general resources. So I'm gonna do a super quick Canva run through. Okay, so when you open it up, page looks like this. The fastest, easiest thing to do is start with a template. So we're gonna make a real quickie social media post. Okay, so you click on the social media template, and then you've got this whole bunch of different templates to choose from. I'm going to use this one. Okay, so we've got text over a picture. We're going to change the background picture. I'm going to go over here to photos. Somebody give me a farmer's market-y sort of photo that we should use, this type search word.
Market.
Awesome. Okay, how about this top one? It has a bunch of vegetables and it's free, so we're going to use that one. Then I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to click replace background at the bottom. So it replaced the background with that photo. Now we're going to need, I shouldn't have picked that photo. It's too busy. So we're going to place a box so that we'll be able to see our text. We're going to send the box backward so that the text is in front of it. And then we're going to change our text by just clicking on it. I'm going to say, eat fresh, buy local, your market, date, time. Delete this. Okay, this is not pretty because I don't have time to make it pretty. So this is more about how to use the elements in Canva rather than making it pretty. You'll notice there's a pink frame that helps you line things up. It also helps you center things. So you can center. And then when you're done, there's a download button up in the upper right. Download. And if I usually download them as PNGs or JPEGs and then use them in a Facebook post. So that was really quick. Any questions?
I was just gonna say, it's not really a question, but you can upload your own images too.
Mm-hmm.
So like logos or background photos or whatever. But the stock photos, in my experience, have been great. But if you want to, brand it, put your own logo on it, you can upload that.
Absolutely. And as you can see, I have FARRMS logo uploaded in different colors, and some of our images. Here's some past interns. So yeah, definitely. If you're at a bigger market with resources and branding, they might have a pro subscription. And in that case, you can upload a brand toolkit so that your colors and your images are all in there. I'm about to do that for FARRMS, but have not yet. So my thought was that we would, I'd give you all a time on your own to play around with Canva. You can make lots of things besides social media posts, but especially for those of you who are new to Canva, your homework for the week is to create a social media post for your market using Canva. For example, you could create a post to advertise opening day. Doesn't have to be that. Some of your markets have already opened, but so that's your assignment for the week. And let's talk about understanding your audience. So a key element of marketing is knowing who you're marketing to. You're going to craft different messages for an audience. If your audience is primarily people between the ages of 20 and 30 who are outdoor enthusiasts and do CrossFit and exercise, you're going to use a specific set of messaging for that group of people that is different than the messaging and marketing vehicles that you would use if your audience is primarily over the age of 60 and really into staying home and watching old movies. I'm just trying to come up with random groups of people. So knowing who your audience is really helps with your marketing. A lot of that work is going to come from you getting to know your vendors and your customers by being at the market. But we have done some customer research for you in the form of a customer survey that we did last summer. And that was attached to your email. And wanted to go through that with you, and I forgot to open it. So while I'm opening it, have any of you had a chance to start looking through that?
I did briefly look through it, and it seemed interesting, but I didn't have much time to.
Great.
We've actually been looking at figuring out a way to promote a new survey so we can do some engagement with customers as part of our marketing campaign.
Have you talked with Holly Mobby? She did a rapid assessment survey with customers in like 2010, which is a method that involves a lot of engagement because you're there at the market and there's a big whiteboard with sticky notes where they can give
I've actually been reading about it. I didn't know that Holly did it, but I will try to connect with her. The dot survey stuff.
Yeah, it's a dot survey is part of it, and then they can give written feedback. Shoot me an email after class, and I will connect you with a bunch of resources from the Farmers Market Coalition, because they have a lot of info about how to do this sort of thing.
I actually have some other stuff I wanted to email you about too. Can I include it in that email, or shall I make it separate?
You can include it in one email, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to put my notes on my other screen. So just so that you're aware, there's a document in your learning plan called Notes on the 2019 Customer Survey Report. And that is a summary of what we're going to cover tonight, and I might add some to it. So this is not the last time that we'll touch on this. This is just an intro, and we'll be going over this in more detail further on. Okay, so last summer, the farmers market interns did data collection. They each had a tablet, and they were at the farmers market interviewing customers. So the customer didn't have to do the survey themselves, the intern asked them the questions. As a result, we got 781 responses from markets across the state. And here's a heat map of where the responses were and the markets that participated. Most of the responses were in Bismarck, Fargo, and Grand Forks. So what did we learn? And I'm just covering what's most applicable to your marketing tonight. We're hitting the high points. How do people learn about farmers markets? That was one of the most interesting things that we learned about. Market awareness factors. We asked them, how did you become aware of this market that you're at? And so 37% was word of mouth, and 27% was social media. And so knowing that, I chose to make a lot of your education about word of mouth and social media marketing. So I'm still working on finding some marketing experts to come in and talk about word of mouth marketing. But we're going to talk about social media a lot this summer. That doesn't mean that's all you should do. A diversified package of marketing is useful to reach a whole array of people. But if email made up only 1.25%, maybe we shouldn't spend a lot of time sending out emails. You know, include it, but focus on the things that work best. Who are your customers? They tend to skew older. 64% of all respondents were over 40. 32% of those were over, 32% of the total were over 60. 36% have one or more children in their household. 71% traveled 5 miles or less to the market. And this information is early on in the chart. Most spent between $11 and $20 at the market each visit. And most shop weekly or twice a month. So they skew older. They're in town or close to town, close to the market, and they tend to be loyal. They're shopping weekly. So what does this mean for you? I think some of the experts that I bring in might be able to guide us more in that, but I'm thinking, you know, Facebook tends to reach an older audience, while Instagram is geared towards a younger audience. So you might emphasize Facebook a little more than Instagram, or take the opposite tactic and lean hard on Instagram to try to tap that untapped market, reach that unreached market of younger people, if that makes sense in your community. If your community's older, maybe there aren't as many younger people to reach. And if they're shopping weekly, so they're already loyal, they're kind of in the family, what can you do to sort of keep them, increase that? I'm still thinking about that one. We also asked them what affected their choices in choosing vendors. And you can read more in the survey, but in summary, their top factors were supporting local farmers, quality, and buying locally. So this is important because these are things that you can use in your messaging that you know will reach your customers. Buy local, focus on your farmers, use images of your vendors and farmers in your marketing and social media, because that is what makes the connection with the customers. Talk about how fresh the produce is. Talk about how your vendors are local and supporting the market supports your local economy. In another session, I will talk with you more about the question about whether they made other purchases in town that day, and how that relates to your creating relationships with other businesses in the community, and how farmers markets support local economies. And then the last question was for today, what do the customers want? Overall, they said they wanted more growers at the market, more vendors. So where we come in is helping to recruit those vendors. They also were interested in more meats and cheeses and more prepared foods and a number of other factors. Okay. So we'll cover more about that later on. There's a great video from the Iowa Farmers Market Coalition called, I think it's called Let Us Grow. And that's got some great marketing tips. So I would recommend checking that out. And that is the video, that is video, marketing your market. So that's the other part of your homework, is to watch that video, because there's a lot of good stuff. And since it's 6:30, is Simone with us yet? Yeah, there she is. Perfect. Simone Wai is joining us from Fargo. Simone is Felicity's market manager at Red River Market. I included a link to her page. She works with an organization called Folkways. And Simone is going to talk about Red River Market's COVID-19 response, some practical social media tips, and plans for a future online ordering system for their market. So I'm going to give screen sharing to Simone and turn the presentation over to Simone. Welcome, Simone.
Hello. Can everyone hear me? Perfect. Let me just wait till the screen sharing comes on.
Okay, you are now the host.
Okay. I think that's the one I want. And then we will go over, oh shoot, okay. Over to our COVID guidelines. All right. Hi everyone, I'm Simone from the Red River Market. I've been working on the market since it started in 2015 and have really enjoyed taking the farmers market from just a little market on the street with 10 vendors to the market that it is today. So we've really been through a lot in the last few years and are excited for our 6th season to start. So I will just get started. What you're looking at, can you see the website? Perfect.
Yes.
What you're looking at is our COVID guideline website. So with the changes that COVID-19 brought to the Red River Market, we kind of took a complete change in our strategy of how we were going to advertise, market, and communicate our farmers market. So what that kind of looked like for us is that our normal marketing plan includes highlighting what's going on at the market every week. We usually have kids activities, we have hands-on art demonstrations, we have cultural demonstrations, we have cooking demonstrations with sampling. And we really focused on that community space, building up that space for people to dine, listen to music, hang out, spend time with their families. And this year, since we're not going to have a lot of that stuff, we're really shifting our marketing and communications from being centered around that community plaza space and enjoying your time at the market to focusing on having a great grocery store experience, focusing on SNAP, EBT marketing, and focusing on food security. And then lastly, really focusing our marketing efforts on posts featuring vendors and their products, going out on farm visits and trying to get photos and content from the fields, from where people are making their products, and really put the magnifying glass onto the grocery experience. What are the products? What are their ingredients? What's the story behind them? And sharing that part of the market. So we're actually really excited for the opportunity to bring that information in, because we see that as being evergreen content for the rest of the time that the farmers market is open, and content that we'll be able to use years and years going forward. And we finally have the time and the kind of forced ability to take the time to do that, where we may not have in the past. So as you can see, we have a bunch of different guidelines for our visitors. We really have been trying to push these because we want to make sure that the market is a safe place for everyone to be. And we kind of have a few guidelines. You can read them, but I'll just kind of go through a couple. I know you guys talked about this already. I think the biggest one down here is the market layout. It's going to be a lot different for people. So from what they're expecting. So we really want to communicate that, so when they show up, it's not surprising or stark or maybe kind of an expectations versus reality situation. We really want to manage people's expectations of what the market is going to look like, what we expect from people, and how prepared we want them to be. so that when they show up, they kind of know what to do. So what we've kind of done this year, along with changing our focus, is really communicating those guidelines. So if you go to our Instagram page, what we've done this year is taken those guidelines that I just showed you and turned them into posts that we've been sharing throughout these last few weeks. One focused on our dining out experience. So we're trying to get people to still shop from our food vendors and take their food home to enjoy, beverages home to enjoy. So these are all made on Canva, which I know you've learned about already. This is a font that we use, our normal typeface that we use for all of our branding and communications. Another one kind of displaying the idea of taking the one you touch and trying not to touch every single product before you select which one goes in your basket. Limiting group size of how many people are coming to the market, and then social distancing, of course. So we're kind of using these kind of fun and playful ways to communicate those messages that are still really online with our branding. And these are all photos from products from the farmers market. Yeah, so that's just one way that we are communicating that message. And with that focus, change in focus from our strategy, we're also really taking more photos of products and more photos of our vendors and farmers. This year, a lot of your content might look really dated because people are going to see the market looking differently. They're going to see lots of people in masks. So we just didn't want to spend a lot of time, energy, and money and investing in content that we're not going to be able to reuse because all of the photos that we take, I've posted, you know, maybe one, maybe two, maybe three times when it's effective. So we're really putting the emphasis this year on taking photos, like I said, of our farmers and of their products. So one way that you guys can do this and incorporate this into your markets is trying to figure out how you want your imagery and how you want your branding to look as people are scrolling through and looking at what the market looks like. So I know Pinterest is a little outdated for some people, but we still use it a little bit at the market to kind of gather inspiration on what kind of photos we want to do, how we want our branding to look. So these are just a few photos that I pinned for the upcoming photo shoot last week that we did, just to give ourselves and our photographer a little bit of an idea of what we wanted to do. And this is totally something you can do for yourself, even if you're just taking your own photos at the market, to kind of plan out and have a bit of a vision for when you get to the market and what you want to take pictures of, because it can be a little bit of a free-for-all on market day when there's a lot of people and a lot going on. So it's good to have just an area to start with. And we worked with our photographer on this, but you can also absolutely do this on your own or with your market managers, creating a little bit of a vision board based on the photos that you pick from online. And one thing I will just cover that's cool about Pinterest is if you like something, for example, if you think this picture of the carrots is cool, oh, now it's not working, loading. If you scroll down, there's just a bunch of other kind of similar inspirations. So if you see something you like, you can really get exactly what you're looking for on there. So from there, we created a mood board. So our goal was to focus on products, farmers, and food in use and our merchandise at the market. So these are a couple, you can see inspiration photos from that Pinterest board. I also really wanted to get pictures of beverages because during the market, those are hard to take a photo of at people's booth. It's really difficult to capture, you know, a cup of coffee when it's in the coffee cup. It's hard to capture a beer when it's in the beer cup. And we wanted to really get these items with their ingredients looking beautiful and really honoring the process that our vendors go through in creating those. And then another thing that we wanted to really do, you can see in this white photo right here, that we wanted to highlight the product's ingredients. So we have a lot of vendors who collaborate on products. So for example, like a hot sauce might have a local honey in it, a local pepper in it. And that's not something that we always talk about to the extent that it deserves, because it's really exciting when we have both locally made products that feature locally grown ingredients. Excuse me. So we really wanted to put that at the forefront of this year's marketing as well, and show how natural our products are, how local our products are, and really feature those vendor collaborations as well. And then lastly, just a little inspiration for our farm photo shoots. We have not started these yet, but these are things that we are going to be doing to go along with our vendor feature posts, which I will talk a little bit about later. So with this, we did a bunch of photos about that are more in this style, that feature different items. And this is something you can absolutely do on your own. You do not need a photographer to do this. You can plan this all out on your own and make it happen. So the first thing we did was we requested products from vendors, but you can absolutely do it during the farmers market and just do it day of. But we created a spreadsheet that had all of the items that we were going to do, which vendors they were coming from, and any props that we might need for that photo, any notes that we had. And the reason why I did this is because I think it's really important when you're describing the products to make sure that you have the name correct, the ingredients correct, so you can really talk about that product and honor the item to its fullest extent. You know, you don't just want to post a loaf of bread and say, look at this beautiful loaf of bread. You want to say, this is the margarita focaccia from Breadsmith, includes basil and fresh tomatoes, to really give the full experience of the flavor of that product versus just having a more generic description. So after that, we created the photo shoot, and I've talked to Morgan a lot about this. She is who's our photographer. She is working on creating kind of a simple class that our farmers will be able to take advantage of in order to improve their own photos, and how a little bit more on her process that she does to get photos that look beautiful and really highlight the products. So you'll see Felicity here helping out with the photo shoot. So we gathered up all the items. As you can see, we made a huge mess and put together the photo shoot. So you can do this either at the market, like I said, or collect the items at the market and do it at a different location, bring things back while the market's going on, or do it completely separately from that day if that's easier for you. And then what she does, here you can see, this is items from our hot sauce vendor. They had bagged each item separately. You know, this is one with its ingredients. This is another with its ingredients, just to keep things really simple for us. And then she just takes tag board of different colors. And this is going to be part of the directive that she gives our vendors, is just get a plain colored background. It can be something from, you know, the office supply store. It doesn't have to cost more than, you know, $5. And just set the items out in good lighting and get a photo. And I just love how simple these look. This is actually an example from a locally made mead. So you can see it's an apple flavored mead. It's got the local apples, it's got the local honey, and here's the final product. And she was, you know, kind of coaching me up on how to take photos of these on my own with my iPhone, and just using a couple simple filters to make these photos look really good. So what I do for social posting at the farmers market and creating images for the farmers market is I've just downloaded a few Lightroom filters. So there's a free app, it's called Lightroom. It's like a Adobe photoing edit app. And since I know none of us are going to become professional photo editors by tomorrow, an easy thing to do is just look for a Lightroom filter that matches the kind of vibe you have going for your mood board. And there's tons that you can download for free on the internet. There's tons that are, you know, $5 that make your photos look almost semi-professional. Our photographer actually asked me like who was taking our day of photos because she thought they looked really good. And it was just a filter that I got online. I think ours were called like Light and Airy or something like that. There's tons that, you know, make reds look really good, that make yellows look really good. So if you just find like a digital download pack online, and it will save you a ton of time. They usually have the full directions to download them. You can start testing them out at the market, but that's all I use because it saves me a lot of time. As the manager, you don't really have a lot of time to do social posting during the market. So I just try to keep it as simple as possible for myself, so I can spend more time doing the other things that are really important at the market. So that's just a little kind of quick trick that I have for creating really lovely images. So then how do we use these photos at the market? So this year, well, actually for the last, I think 3 seasons, we've been doing specific vendor features. So this is more of an opportunity for our vendors to tell their story about themselves, how they started the business, how the products are made, and really just allow people to get to know who our vendors are and create a deeper relationship with our vendors without having to spend a lot of time at the market. So I actually created this survey, and this is just a Google survey on Google Docs that all these answers, when they fill this out, it goes into a spreadsheet. It's super convenient for us. And it just allows us to collect some quick information about our vendors and create little business profiles on them to share more about their business. So I have business name, how did you get started? What inspired you to make or grow your product? What is the process of creating your products? What does a typical day of preparation for the market look like for you? So they talk about, you know, when they harvest, who's helping them harvest, or, you know, the bottling process for the honey, things like that. Tell us about the people who run your booth, because it's not always the person that's running the business who's at the booth every day. So we really want to highlight, you know, that smiling face that you'll see at the market, and share a little bit more about them. You know, if it's a child, a sibling, a spouse that's at the market, it's always fun to learn more about them. And then we like to talk about their favorite items or their most popular products, and sometimes those are different. And then we'd like to get a quote from them about how being part of the farmers market has influenced their business. And we use this sometimes for grants that we're writing, and sometimes for these little highlights. Why do you think Red River Market and its vendors are essential to our community? That sentence is always like a nice little wrap up at the end of the vendor features. And then share a unique story from the market, surprise interaction with the customer. Sometimes you can get like a really funny, inspiring, or sweet story about them connecting with a customer. And it's those kind of personal things that we really love to share. And then share your favorite part of the farmers market. So this is just a really simple survey, and I tell them that they can answer as many or as few questions as they want. And whatever applies to them. And then from there, we write up a little feature. So our features go onto Instagram, Facebook, our blog, and into an email newsletter. So usually these are about 200 to 300 words at maximum. And then I take those blog posts and then pare them down for Facebook and Instagram. So of course you don't want to post the entire thing on an Instagram or Facebook post, but sometimes little snippets are fun, or sometimes I do a little bit of a longer post, because I think people are more willing to read a little bit longer of a caption on an Instagram post if it's a little story like this. So just as an example of one we've done in the past, this is a little story about Thunder Coffee. We talk about who you can see at the booth. We talk about their experience of starting They actually launched their business at the Red River Market, and who will be at the booth. We've got pictures of decks having a great time at the market, and really highlighting those vendor photos at the market. So now we've taken additional photos last week of Vendor Coffee's coffee. They have a new cold brew product that's available, and we'll be able to take these vendor features and add those product photos to them. So it'll be a really full experience to share, you know, from the person to the business to the actual product, what's going on at the market, and really get to know those folks. And then we'll show you an example on, oh, one sec.
Simone, are you using the paid version of MailChimp?
We are, I believe we're like right under the pay threshold. So I don't think we're paying for it yet.
Okay.
It's a certain amount of users, a couple thousand users, I think.
Okay, good. I'd like to talk about that later because I've been,
oh yeah,
I struggle with MailChimp.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, love to. This is another example on our email newsletter on a vendor called Farmers Gold Popcorn. They have little these little popcorns that they sell that pop right on the cob. So they're kind of fun. They make really fun gifts. And they share their story about how they grew the popcorn at home and actually gave it away as wedding gifts for their own wedding. And it was so popular, people thought it was so fun that they started selling this as a product, and then they joined us at the farmers market. So again, it's just a really fun way to share, you know, how these businesses start, because it's always, you know, a unique story and how you get to be a vendor at the farmers market. And then really just highlighting the product and the people, which I think is just so important to creating a relationship with your local market. Yeah, so like I said, we also post these on a blog that we have, and we've gotten actually a ton of really good feedback from vendors. When we do this for vendors, pretty much every week, the person that's been featured has told me that they had people come up specifically to their booth because they saw the email or the post or whatever and just wanted to say hi or try a product. So I do think that they're very effective. And really start to create that relationship between the customers and the vendors. So with that, I just wanted to talk about a couple other things, simple things that we do to make our social media and our marketing more engaging. So one thing that we have is the #MyMarketTote. So we sell these bags for $5. They cost like $2 for us to buy. They have our logo on it. It's just a really simple plain canvas bag. But I started this the first season to really encourage people to highlight the vegetables that they were buying. My friend helped out at the Mill City Market in Minneapolis for a little while, and she said that their motto was always like, we don't need another donut photo at the market. We need more produce photos from the market. So this is something that we've done. You can see people are really awesome about sharing the produce that they've purchased at the market. So that's a really fun way to share. Another thing that I like to do at the end of the market is on Sunday. Our market is on Saturday. On Sunday, I just go through our tagged photos, our hashtags, and then any reposts or any posts from Instagram stories, and I will ask for permission from people if we can use these photos, and I reshare them as our own content with credit to the original person. So this is a really easy way to share things throughout the week of photos that you didn't even do anything to take. And as you can see, there's like some really great photos in here. These are all user generated from either our vendors or customers. So that's a really great place to look for content. Felicity is actually starting a social media contest to encourage people to share the meals that they are going to be making at the farmers market. We are right at almost at the 10,000 follower mark, and then you get the swipe up on Instagram. So I'm really gunning for more followers so we can get that and be able to better link to our blog content, things like that. And then another thing we do to highlight our vendors is in our stories. So basically all the stories I post are reposts from vendors. I'll just show you if this comes up. Here's a little feature of a new vendor that we have. This is a post that she just posted and tagged us in. And then I put it in our stories. So if you're kind of dry for content throughout the week, that is also a great thing to do. The pro tip on there is just to follow all of your vendors on Instagram and on Facebook so that you see that content and are able to repost it. And then I'm not doing this at all because I know nothing about TikTok, but our my other coworker who is 20 is getting us on TikTok, and she's first of all doing some art content. We're going to do some maybe cooking content, things like that. So she is working on that because she is really great at video and great at editing. And then the last thing I just wanted to cover in the last few minutes here is our future online ordering system. So we are working with a local group called Harvestable to create an app. I don't think it's going to be ready for the first week of the market, but you know it's on the way. So we are you know, crossing our fingers there. But how the app will work is that you'll be able to purchase from a single shopping cart or pre-order for the farmers market. So I can stop screen sharing, I guess. So our vendors will be able to upload their products onto their profile, and as the market, we will be able to say all of these vendors are going to be at the market this week. And people will be able to shop from every single vendor that's signed up at the farmers market. They'll be able to check out with one payment, and then they'll get a list in their confirmation about which booths that they'll need to pick up those products from. And during the market, they can come and go to each booth and pick them up, or they can come during our pre-order pickup window, which will be 30 minutes before the market starts. We have a space that's reserved through the city to be able to block off parking just adjacent to the market for 15-minute only parking. So we would have that available for people. They could come before the kind of hectic part of the market starts if they're not comfortable coming during the regular time, and pick up those items from each of the vendors. So that is something that we're working on. Like I said, it's not quite ready yet, but we'll get there. Yeah, that's all I have for you guys. I can stay for a couple minutes if you have questions. But yeah, that's what we're doing at the Red River Market this year.
Thank you, Simone. That was fantastic. I learned a lot that I that I will use for FARRMS as well.
Great.
So, does anybody have any questions? I will leave it open for a while. So, Shelby, you had a question.
So the Minot Farmers Market crowd is a little bit like older, like our vendors are a little bit older. So I'm wondering like how best to like get them to participate in like vendor Q&As and like getting like produce from them for photo shoots and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's something that we have also done during the market. So we let them know, you know, a week before that we're at the market before that we're going to do a photo shoot, and we you know, collect all the items before the market starts, and do a photo shoot, you know, in a little area away from the main part of the farmers market. So that's helpful for photos. You don't have to, you know, do any coordinating or anything like that. But for the content, it might be better to do a phone interview, which we've totally done. It might be better to do, you know, an in-person interview if you have time before or after the market, just to ask them a couple questions. And it's always helpful to just like record those on your phone, and, you know, get a little bit of a story from them. But yeah, if in-person works better, if over the phone works better, I think that's also a great way. And we are actually going to do farm visits as well. So if that's more their speed, is just coming out to the farm old-fashioned style and standing in the field and just chatting, that's also a great way to connect with people. I think that once you get there, everyone has quite a story to tell. So yeah, that's something that we're doing as well. We're going to try to set up a day where we, hit 4 or 5 farms, take photos with them, take photos of their products, and then kind of get a little bit more in-depth story about them.
For what it's worth, and I'm hesitant to say too much because we're at the beginning stages, but I've been in touch with the same photographer that Simone is using, because FARRMS is going to do something similar to what Red River Market is doing in getting stories and photos to feature the farmers that we serve. And most of the farmers that FARRMS serve are vending at your farmers markets. So I will let you know more. But if, for example, we're doing a farmer photo shoot of, I'm going to pick on Quinn, of Marvin Baker at the North Prairie Farmers Market, I would communicate with you as well to see if, I'm not sure, we can share content and things like that. If we get a great photo of Marvin, let's use it as many places as possible. So, post it on your vendor page as well as FARRMS posting it. So more
yeah, that's great. And we love Morgan. I've been working with her for years, and she's not the least expensive photographer out there, but the important thing is that she focuses on actually branding for companies, and mostly for food companies. So she does really specialize in this area. It's not just like some random wedding photographer that's also doing photos, but she is really thinking about the brand strategy and the story that you're going to be telling with the photos, and not just how they look. So I really appreciate her expertise on that, and have leaned on her a lot to learn what we should be focusing on for the market.
Well, it is 7:03, so if you all need to hop off and get on to your next thing, thank you for joining us. If there's any further questions, I will leave Zoom open for another 5-10 minutes if you guys have questions for Simone.
Yeah, and if you'd like to email me as well, I'm available at Simone, SIMONE, at folkways.co.
And I will try to put that in their sheet as well, their
Perfect.
Excel table that's got their lesson plan. Oh, I think Quinn has a question.
No, I was just gonna say goodbye. I gotta jump off, but I will email you about a few questions and follow up on that in a different conversation. Cool. Thank you.
Sounds good. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Stephanie, I had a question about recruiting produce vendors from other markets.
From other markets?
The Spirit Lake Mobile Farmers Market is going to be during the weekdays. And there's a farmers market in Devil's Lake, which is 7 miles away, on the weekends. And we're kind of struggling with getting actual produce. Like, we only have, I think, one for sure produce vendor, and then the rest are like arts and crafts. Is it weird to go to another farmer's market and ask people if they want to set up a table at ours?
I don't know if I would do it at the farmer's market, but you're creating an additional opportunity for that farmer to market. So it's a win for the farmer and the customers. So I think it's okay. I would
maybe get a card and call them later or something.
Yeah, Yeah, and be upfront and open with the other farmers market.
Coordinators.
Yeah,
Okay.
introduce yourself and establish a relationship with them so that they don't, people tend to get suspicious or uncomfortable when they don't know what's going on. Then that's when they come up with ideas. But if you just introduce yourself and establish a relationship, tell them that you're starting a farmers market during the week, they might even offer to help. Every community is different. So some farmers markets are competitive with others, some are collaborative, so I don't know what what they're like, but
all right.
That's
Yeah,
what we did when we were, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say those are good suggestions. I'll try that. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what we did when we were getting started too. And now other events ask us if we'll share our list. And I don't share their contact information, but I have them check a box if they're interested in other opportunities for sales. So I have a list of people that are. And when people reach out, I provide the information to our vendors. So if it's a match, then they'll contact the other group. So yeah, for us, we're totally comfortable giving that information out, especially if it's on a different day. We want our vendors to do better in all ways so they can sell more at every market. So hopefully the other market that you're looking at has that same kind of community spirit and gets it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ladies. That's helpful.
And I think I might be able to find some resources on vendor recruitment. And I think there's at least one worksheet or one lesson in your online market managers course about vendor recruitment.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. I was so gung-ho about that course, and then when we got it, I haven't even looked at it since, so I'll have to get back in there. All right, that's all I had. I'm gonna go.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna head out as well. Thank you, and thank you, Simone. That was really good presentation. So,
Thank
okay.
you.
All right, bye.